72, Party Rock. Let's go. Challenge 5, standard invite. Here we go. Let's see. All right, let's do it. Let's do it here. E4 it is. Okay, King's Pawn. Might we get into Ruy Lopez? Spanish opening. Spanish opening it is. If you're watching first time chess, if you don't know, this opening right here is probably the oldest. It's been played for many years. Hundreds, right? Could you say hundreds? Without exaggerating? Yes. Without exaggeration, hundreds of years. Okay, so I'm gonna try to get this in. Let's see if my opponent could capitalize on it. I'm looking to make use of f1 before I castle, because maybe I want to keep my rook on the f1 square. Let's go knight. Or wait a second. Now that this pawn is protected, the knight is looking to maybe pick up my bishop. Hang on. Not so fast. Next up, knight g3. I think we've been here before. Is this the same player? Something with like if the knight plays here, if I take, there's recapture. If I grab the knight grabs the pawn with check. So I pretty much want to get to where? Okay, so there's some time being wasted now. That pawn took 2 steps before it got to d5. That's why I could say that confidently. So a little bit of time has been wasted on black side. I am looking to just reinforce this point. However, if I play knight g3, takes, bishop takes pawn, knight here is not available. Forget that. My rook would then be guarding a5 after the bishop takes here. And I am not afraid of what? What am I not afraid of? I'm not afraid of doubled b pawns. So let me actually back up my bishop right now. I think that would be a good idea, or would it? What about pawn push, actually? No. A4, the bishop's unprotected, and it allows for pawn takes. If I take the bishop, I get hit with the in-betweener. Pawn takes knight, hitting my queen. So I'm being cautious about a pawn move right now. If anything, bishop back to c2. Or do I wait to be kicked away? I'll wait to be kicked away. I don't want to play, I was thinking bishop c2 and then in response to a4, a3, but that really weakens the b3 square, so I don't have another choice really. Capturing right here is giving up my bishop, knight takes, open position, my opponent would be benefiting. Oh man. Okay, so maybe I have thoughts of taking and then getting this pawn, or not. So we're working with this, aren't we? Yes, we are. What about now a3? It's a quiet position, or actually it's a pretty tense position. A3 stops this b4 move. See, if this pawn goes astray, like this, I don't want this knight to be able to cause me a headache right here if it lands on d4. So if I take, the knight recaptures, I take, the queen goes here, and then there's a lot of pressure on my pawn. It becomes awkward for me to deploy my dark square bishop. So I think in response to that, I'm going to go with this. I don't want this structure to be undermined, because what's happening is if I allow this pawn to get to a3, it means my b2 pawn will need to flinch. And if he flinches, then you know, what that translates into is black getting control over the d4 square. So I want to be very, very cautious of the d4 square right here. There is no more pawn advance, and now my opponent is really just guarding that, aren't they? So what about what? Can I just move forward with my plan? Yeah, What's wrong? H4, knight H2. You see, this pawn is actually stopping the knight from getting to this D4 square. Because I made I believe, the correct queenside pawn moves, I'm able to run forward with this H3, knight H2, and F4 idea. But there are still prep moves needed before I could get that in. One of those moves being to get my king off of this diagonal. In the meantime, okay, we're going to be having pressure on this, and I'm foreseeing maybe an eventual file opening up, and then the bishop playing here to remove essentially the glue of my position. If I don't have my bishop around to watch over d3, I think my whole structure will crumble. Let's see. I could play knight g5. I'm going to do that. I want to be able to rely upon my light square bishop. Something tells me that this might be a bit off, though. Like, is the knight going to be jumping in here real soon? I could be getting the bishop, I think. This is going to get really weird. Man, this is really tense. I really want to get in f4 soon, but I need to get my king out of the way. I think bishop b3 is best. And in response to that, I think I should be just capturing it, or maybe not. That says a lot right there. Capture, or maybe not. Bishop b3. Do I let my queen be tethered to the defense of my bishop? That's usually an uncomfortable situation. Okay, we're not having that, and I don't have to worry about knight a5. Okay. I have a lot of... things have been eased on my end, I think. I take this bishop. I think pawn recaptures is good. I'm going to go here. And this is tough. The knight's going to come to g6 and f4. I went to this square instead of h2 because I'm planning on f4, and my king could certainly be accessible along this diagonal. I think I'm kind of forced into it, or not. Am I forced into it? No, I'm not going to take that because I don't want this file to open up. I'm in position now to do one of two things. Take on D and then force like a bishop recaptures or something if my opponent really wants to maintain pressure on D. Whoa, I didn't see that. Uh-oh, am I in trouble? Am I in trouble? No, I get this pawn, right? Calculation time, 1 minute and change. Take, queen takes, king here. No. Takes, queen takes, knight block. That's scary. I don't want to do it. No, I don't want to do it. No. Maybe I should have done it. I'm going to capture here next, I think. Where's the queen going to go? Right there? Let me do what next? I gotta move quicker, and I'm not moving quicker. Let's do this. Very scary over here, dark squares. Very, very scary. But if my opponent doesn't react properly, okay, well, I'm gonna take that. I can't deal with this. And I think I need to cut off the circulation here between that queen and the knight. And I think that this is a good way to do it. So 26 seconds left. Look at this tension. Look at how long this tension was persistent. I think both of us did well to not capture in all these different instances where either one of us could have captured. I think it's best to do how we did. And now I think there's problems. Or is there? No, knight takes knight. Oh, man. Knight takes knight is a good move. Oh, looking for a deadly fork. 33 seconds to figure it out. Oh, okay, I got to do this. I got to get rid of the knight, and I'm in trouble. This knight is so strong. Oh, is it strong right here? I'm dead. I got to get that knight out of there really quick, and I'm not seeing it happen really quick. So blunder right there towards the end with that capture on that square. We are down on time here. I'm going to play here. I'm on the knight. There's a fork here, but there's no time. Right? We can't really think at this point. Gotta just move. Pressure on the bishop and the rook. There is no rook there. I get the bishop. So that's it. No time. 2. No time. What a game. Very, very good game. Wow. Very nice. Very, very tight. I really like that game. Very, very good. Let me back up. And let's see. Alright. I don't know about what. Like, I thought that this was a good decision. Everything right here. I wonder about the queen move. I also wonder at this point right here. I also wonder about, instead of the pawn push, what about knight h5 to f4? I think there's a possibility for that. So that's one suggestion. Looking into that pivot to that 4 square, I think could be a bit uncomfortable for me. What else? Maybe this. Maybe a3. Maybe this is a reason for me. Maybe this is a mistake, castling, because it allows for a4, a3, and then this pawn will be undermined, and you will be able to pivot about much sooner. I mean, it didn't happen in the game, but I think black will be able to make use of the d5 square. So, a4, instead of the pawn push here, this is something I pretty much can't stop. If I really wanted to stop that, I'm needing to push forward in the center or capture. But this move, this a3 move, I could stop. Maybe if you get this in first and I play a pawn move to b4 or b3, then when this move is played, I think then black benefits as a result of those advancing pawn moves. I think that would be a beneficial queenside structure for black to get this pawn all the way down to a3. So I think my first suggestion for white, actually for me in this case, is to not castle, but rather get in a position to just support e4 and meet a4 with a3 like I ended up getting in, but black did have one opportunity to play it. I played it now. The bishop comes out, h3, and this was another thing. Maybe once again trying to get to this f4 square, only this time with the what was the queen knight. e7, g6, and f4 could be a bit disruptive. But at the end of all this, I was not better right here. I misplayed it. I guess this is good in Blitz right here. I think I have a defense if I capture, queen recaptures, and I block with my knight. That way I don't have to deal with the knight coming to g4, but this guy's going to be coming around real soon, getting to f4 or something. So this is a bit awkward. Good move, h5, and this is a bad move on my part, and it was met very nicely with knight takes pawn. We were both in time pressure there, but really, really good game. Good game out of the Spanish opening there.